Good afternoon, dear investors and all project participants present here. Good afternoon to everyone. We are actively beginning the crucial work on fulfilling our highly anticipated commercial orders. Therefore, regardless of any unforeseen circumstances or challenges that may arise, we are already diligently coordinating the very first and most important contracts for these significant commercial orders, ensuring a smooth and efficient process from the outset. We need commercial orders so that we can start up the equipment, get the production chain running, and begin making money. The employees hired to carry out these processes can't just stand around doing nothing. They need to work, they need to earn, and the equipment should not be sitting idle either. At the same time, we are actively launching the crucial technological processes involved in the comprehensive production of our very own products, which are entirely based on our extensive and innovative development efforts. The most recent and significant development we've undertaken, literally just in the past few days, is the initiation of the precise stamping process for the crucial stator segments of our advanced 3/5 size motor. We successfully processed an entire roll of material, which yielded a substantial quantity of blanks, specifically enough for 112 individual motors. At this very moment, these newly produced segments are actively being meticulously assembled into robust stator stacks, undergoing a careful formation process. Furthermore, all of these valuable blanks are being securely sent to our dedicated warehouse facility so that at a later and opportune time, we can seamlessly commence the subsequent essential processes required for the final assembly of our high-quality finished products. Because it's truly impossible to make just one single part and then another. No, the various parts steadily accumulate. And as they gradually accumulate and we have a complete and comprehensive set of absolutely everything that is truly needed, the entire assembly process then begins. That will certainly be the very next crucial stage. And these essential processes will continue to significantly ramp up and expand in their scope. Eventually, all commercial orders and all commercial work will be systematically and completely replaced by our own advanced and highly efficient products. Furthermore, I'd like to directly respond to the criticism that has been raised regarding the fact that we are currently making our motors from individual segments. You see, this is manual work, and it inherently takes a significant amount of time to meticulously assemble, making it quite costly. All large machines are typically constructed from various distinct segments. This is especially true for those particular machines that feature an external rotor. They are precisely segmented. A substantial 1 megawatt machine, for example, is a fundamentally different kind of machine. If you try to stamp out a ready-made stator or rotor right away, first of all, you would certainly need a distinctly different die. In fact, it's a completely different manufacturing process. Secondly, you would also need a much wider strip of metal for your project. The die that would be required simply wouldn't fit through any openings or anywhere else. And the engineering infrastructure wouldn't allow it either. It's pointless. Plus, right now, when we precisely stamp the individual segments, more than 50% of the valuable material unfortunately ends up as significant waste. However, if we were to manufacture it as one complete whole piece, the amount of waste generated would dramatically increase to approximately 70–80%. If we meticulously calculate what's more expensive, scrapping the raw metal or carefully assembling it the precise way we currently do now, it unequivocally turns out that assembling it is indeed several times more cost-effective and significantly cheaper. I've stated it many times already. The fundamental reason we can so easily and effectively compete with China is remarkably simple. The answer, in essence, is very straightforward. With our innovative windings and our advanced designs, we possess the capability to work with specialized electrical steels, not just at the standard 50 Hz, but at much higher frequencies, extending impressively up to 600 Hz. Frequencies of 400 or 500 Hz are normal for aviation. Those are the kinds of frequencies used. That's why the specific power of the machine, if you compare 50 Hz to 400 Hz, increases by a factor of 8. Accordingly, the size of machines with the same power decreases by a factor of 8. The consumption of copper is significantly reduced by 8 times, and the utilization of electrical steel is also substantially decreased by 8 times. And that's precisely why the overall production cost of these motors is considerably lower. With standard circuits, this steel allows operation at 50, at most, in some cases 100 Hz, but no higher. That's precisely why I am absolutely confident that we can easily and effectively compete with others.
A question about the Army 2025 forum. There are many rumors it will be cancelled, but do you know if it will take place?
There hasn't been any talk of it being cancelled. There is information that it has been postponed. We were officially notified. This hasn't really affected us much. I think we'll just be able to prepare more exhibits. Thank you.
Could you please tell me, can the engine that is used for the Motilock 60 kilowatt also be utilized as a generator?
Yes, it can, absolutely. The interesting thing is, you can even use a regular frequency converter to effectively spin it. And in actual fact, all wind generators historically used to utilize asynchronous motors as their primary generators. The residual magnetic flux then gets the initial rotation going, allowing for smooth operation. You just connect capacitors to the winding. There is an exchange of reactive power, and you draw the active power into the grid. Thank you.
Just to clarify, does that mean the CCR is basically done? Are we just waiting for a written response from them, or what?
Look, in order for us to get the CCR, the first thing we need is this. We need to obtain the official approval of the detailed, high-polygon architectural and comprehensive urban planning model. After that, given that a lot of time has passed since the last commission, we duly call the commission again, and they thoroughly check all our fire safety and smoke removal systems, ensuring they are properly functioning. Well, that's it. The fire suppression system works. And they've already checked the other things. Everything has been fixed.
So, what has changed? Why are we starting commercial operations despite the potential fines? Are we equipped with enough equipment to fulfill the contracts?
Well, the contracts that we are currently preparing to sign are fully supported by the necessary technological processes and established procedures. However, you must understand one more crucial thing. We absolutely need to build a dedicated and efficient team. We are actively bringing in highly skilled specialists, and a specialist, by their very nature, cannot simply stand there idly and merely look at the machine without engaging with it. It simply cannot, and the entire process of forming a team and selecting personnel is a lengthy one. Because you truly need to observe a person, see what they are capable of, how they do things, and they need to be properly integrated into the team overall. It's an entire process. It's a whole process, and it takes a certain amount of time. You can't just make it happen with the snap of your fingers. Therefore, when you are preparing to launch a new product on the market, the capacities you create for it, when the market does not yet exist, when it is still undeveloped and in its early stages, you are working for commercial purposes. Because people need to earn a living. The equipment needs to be running. The essential supply chains need to be carefully established. Effective sales channels need to be properly set up. The administrative staff needs to be well organized, as well as the skilled technical specialists and the necessary machinery. Everything needs to be efficiently put in place. And then, gradually, as the market develops and as production volumes grow, you will start replacing commercial orders with your own. Thank you.
Could you tell me why we can't start the procedure for valuing the company's assets right now? After all, everything has already been built and the equipment has been purchased. And finally, when will there be clarity on the total number of shares?
Look, first of all, not all the equipment is in place. That's one. Secondly, the land hasn't been purchased. That's two. And the facility with the land are not the same thing. And significant developments in the comprehensive documentation, or substantial developments with advanced prototypes, and not just initial prototypes, but already fully industrial prototypes equipped with all the necessary official documents and essential certificates, are certainly not the same thing. That's a completely different and much higher level altogether.
Are there any ongoing projects to design and develop new aircraft engines that are smaller in size than the one used on the Motilock?
Please note, all of those powerful engines within the angle grinder are specifically intended for critical aviation systems. These are meticulously built-in engines, so we can precisely set them to 50 Hertz or to 600 Hertz or even 400 Hertz. Well, what exact RPM or revolutions per minute do you truly need for your specific application? That's a completely different power output and practical application. This is a truly proven design that can be effectively used for various important applications, including aviation, all sorts of flying devices, for three-dimensional movement, so to speak.
In your opinion, is it possible for the company to reach a capitalization of $1 billion next year, or is that a fantastical figure?
You know, I don't genuinely think that's going to be truly possible next year. It's quite unrealistic, but I can certainly tell you one significant thing. So far, I don't really see any viable alternative on the immediate horizon to motors with their combined windings. Because it was indeed asynchronous motors that fundamentally made our modern civilization precisely what it is today. And without them, we truly wouldn't have bread, elevators certainly wouldn't work, there would be absolutely no water, no sewage, no heating, nothing at all would properly function, no essential products, no complex machines would operate. That's precisely why asynchronous motors are used everywhere. Yes, you could say that BLDC motors could be used instead, because there just aren't enough magnets. Every single year, approximately 10,000 motors are produced. My apologies, I meant to say 10 billion, a truly immense figure of 10 billion motors. For that colossal quantity, especially when you consider the inclusion of large and powerful machines, you will simply never have a sufficient supply of the necessary magnets. That's why, for now, there's absolutely no alternative to this. And for motors with standard windings, there is only one viable alternative: motors with combined windings, and that's truly inevitable.
In dirigible, there's a specific number of shares. When will it be known how many shares Sovelmash will have?
As soon as we successfully and completely finalize the comprehensive valuation process. This encompasses the entire and thorough valuation of both tangible and intangible assets. We will then promptly and formally contribute this assessed value to the authorized capital. And during the intricate and detailed process of reorganizing from a limited liability company to a joint stock company, naturally, it will be precisely determined how many shares there will be and of what specific type. And this crucial information will be made public immediately and transparently.